So let me just get to the DSA part. So this is the guy from DSA. His name is Peter J. Gowan or whatever. And he says Jimmy Dore's behavior would be a violation of the MDC DSA code of conduct. As a steering member, I'd support taking strong disciplinary action to stop him being abusive to members if he tried it at a meeting. They're talking about me yelling on Katie Helper's podcast. That's what they're talking about. And if I'm ever doing a YouTube show at a DSA meeting, I'll keep that in mind, Peter. By the way, what does MDC stand for? Members who demand coddling? One guy on Twitter speaks for the entire DSA. I got it. Okay, so what I said was, this Karen is just dying to call my manager, but I don't have one. Is this really what the DSA is doing while we are doing force to vote? Yeah, it is. Pathetic. Ask them exactly when they think is the right time for Medicare for all. They have no answer nor a timeline for implementing it. And that is true. And I'm going to show you right now that the DSA is contradicting their own ethos, their own manifesto. It's inexplicable. They've got no answer. That guy, Peter, that fucking Peter J. Gowan guy, he's got no answer for this. I asked him about this on Twitter. You know what I got? Crickets. So here's what I asked him. This is for DSA, a guide to pressuring your congressional representatives to support Medicare for all. This is from the DSA. Do you want to see what the centerpiece of their own guide is? This is the centerpiece of their own guide. You ready? Pushing a floor vote in the House not only tests the political strength of the movement to make that happen, it also sends the bill to the Senate, calling the question there. This is just what Ro Khanna said. A floor vote in the House will force representatives to finally reveal whether they're on the side of healthcare profiteers or on the side of the working class. This is from the DSA's pressure guide. We know Medicare for all won't be a reality under Trump, but a House floor vote is the best which side are you on political opportunity in 2019, and it sets the stage to make Medicare for all the decisive issue of 2020. This is from the DSA's pressure guide to support Medicare for all. They're saying to do what I've been pushing for the last 2-3 weeks and what they've been ignoring. They're ignoring their own fucking pressure guide. The DSA is ignoring this, and they won't answer this when I tweet it at them, but they'll come at me with an ad hominem attack. That's your DSA? Really? You're proud of yourselves? Do you have a shame button? Does Peter J. Gowan have a shame button? Because if he does, it's fucking broken. Oh, I'm sorry I used violence. I said fuck. Shame on you, Peter J. Gowan, and shame on the DSA for going against their own manifesto, because that's what they're doing. Shame on you. I want to hear your answer to this. They don't have one. Jimmy Dore's a meanie. Fuck off. Here's what they said. We know Medicare for all won't be a reality under Trump, but a House floor vote is the best which side are you on political opportunity in 2019, and it sets the stage to make Medicare for all the decisive issue of 2020. That's from the DSA pressure guide. Here's from the Jimmy Dore pressure guide. We know Medicare for all won't be a reality under Joe Biden, but a House floor vote is the best which side are you on political opportunity in 2021, and sets the stage to make Medicare for all the decisive issue of 2022. You think that's what the DSA would be saying right now, but it's just the Jimmy D essay saying it. Isn't that weird? Shame on the DSA. Shame on the nurses union. Shame on any other organization that claims to be for Medicare for all and is not participating in this moment. Shame on you. You should feel ashamed. Hey, all Jimmy wants is attention. I guess that guy, Peter J. Gowan, isn't the expert on the DSA rule guides that he thought he was. Ron?
Nope, it sounds like it. Well, his entire tweet, all his tweet is saying is, I'm in the DSA, I have this position, and I don't like Jimmy Dore.
That's it.
That's really all he's saying. As you mentioned, he does not speak for the entire organization. He just, has a position, has an issue with you, apparently, and that's what he wants to put out into the world. It's like, well, it'd be cool if you could just talk about the idea itself, but if that's all you got, okay.
That's all he's got. That's all he's got. So now you know The DSA doesn't follow their own manifestos. They also are not crossing power at this moment, and they're not putting any pressure on AOC, who says she answers to the DSA. DSA not putting any pressure on her to do anything until I came up with this idea. They've been thinking about this their whole life is doing this, but it didn't dawn on them that they could do this. And so it didn't dawn on them, so they're not going to push AOC to do it, the DSA. They're not pushing anybody to do anything. In fact, they're attacking me. A guy who has a great idea to help push the ball forward for Medicare for All. The DSA decides to attack me. Shame on you. Shame on you. This is a big clarifying moment for the left right now. The people on the left aren't fighters. That's the problem. They're not fighters. The squatters they're not fighters. So here's AOC saying exactly what I'm asking her to do. Here's what she says.
In what you said earlier, too, I wanted to go back to what you said about our left party. We don't have a left party in the United States. The Democratic Party is not a left party. The Democratic Party is a center or center conservative party. We do not advocate for, we can't even get a floor vote on Medicare for All. Not even a floor vote that gets voted down. We can't even get a vote on it. So this is not.
She says it's a conservative party, Ronna. I think she's being generous.
She's being very generous. Yeah, I mean, it is a far right party by world standards.
Here she is just last month.
Senate, and we organize to win back the presidency. And we do all of that on election day, and then we walk away. We're not going to get anything done. Nothing's going to happen. The Democratic Party does not do more unless it is pushed. So we need to push them. And they don't like it. I think
they'll say you're doing violence against them. That's how much they don't like it when you push them to do what they ran on. They'll say you're doing violence against them because you said the F word. This is her being a poser. She's posing as someone who crosses leadership and the establishment. Her posing. Because we're asking her to actually do it now in a time that actually has real consequences, and she's not. She's bending herself into a pretzel to find reasons not to do it. And she's getting help from The Intercept.
Annoy them, but but that is our job. That's our job.
Our job is to push them and annoy them. That's what she said. Here's what else she said.
What the Bronx and Queens needs is Medicare for all, tuition-free public college, a federal jobs guarantee, and criminal justice reform. We can do it now. It doesn't take 100 years to do this. It takes political courage.
We can do this now. It doesn't take 100 years. It takes political courage. AOC needs a visit from her ghost of Christmas past tonight before she votes tomorrow. Here's Ro Khanna. What challenges and opportunities should progressives prepare themselves for under a Biden presidency?
Well, I believe in Medicare for all, and I think the first step is that we should get a vote on Medicare for all in the House. We ought to have hearings, and we ought to have a vote. I think if you look at the polling, Fox News poll showed 60-70% of people believe in national government health insurance. It's something that is popular not only in blue districts but in red districts. And my view of this Republican-led Senate is we ought to pass a bold progressive agenda out of the House and send it up to the Senate, and then see what they will pass or what they won't pass.
Yes. Let's do it, Ro. Hashtag force to vote. Let's do it. Let's do it. You got to at least get a vote. So AOC agrees even if it gets voted down, you got to have the vote. So do you. But they won't do it. They won't do it. Ron, what is going on?
I don't know. I think their past selves need to debate their present selves. Because AOC made an amazing case for force to vote in those clips you just played.
And she's not going to go on anybody's show who she knows will play those clips, and she'll have to answer for it. That's why she goes on The Intercepted to get a softball interview from someone who doesn't know how to ask follow-up questions about the biggest issue right now. The whole reason she went on that podcast was to answer this question and to put out this fire, and they didn't ask a goddamn follow-up question. And then they run around, they have another guy from The Intercept go out and talk about how I'm yelling too much. Ryan Grimm's not embarrassed that his company did a bullshit softball interview to fucking protect a politician. He's not embarrassed or ashamed. He's upset that a YouTube comedian yelled on a Zoom. That's where the Intercept is. After they kick Glenn Greenwald out because they're pro-censorship and they run interference for the Democratic Party, they're doing it for the Squad now. And then Ryan Grimm is not upset at that, at their journalistic malfeasance. He's upset that a YouTube comedian raised his voice. Isn't that fucking weird, Ron?
Mm-hmm. Weird's one way to put it. I mean, yeah, it's
revealing. It's revealing, right? That there's some kind of a thing happening.
Yeah. Well, this whole thing has been. I mean, calling it petty is just an understatement. There's not a word in the English language for what this has all been over the past few weeks, over a simple ask that the only consequences will be. The Progressive Caucus is going to make some of their colleagues uncomfortable and put them in the hot seat. And that's what you're there for. That's what the people elected you for. You got to make these colleagues uncomfortable. You got to make them do things they don't want to do. And if you're going to answer to them instead of answering to us, well, then why are we behind you?
Why are we behind you?
Why are we behind you if you're going to do that? I mean, this is not... I mean, again, and I know I've said it before, it's not an unreasonable ask.
It's the bare minimum.
It's the bare minimum. A vote on health care during a pandemic. If that is a bridge too far, what's the point in even being a country, quite frankly? A vote on health care during a pandemic is a bridge too far. As a society, is this who we are?
Yes. # force to vote. Anything else you want to add to that, Ron?
No, I think that's the appropriate ending. # force the vote.
Hey, everybody, this is the part where I tell you where all our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then this is why I tell you to join our premium program and get extra content, but nobody's got a fucking job. So just enjoy the video.